Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Inside Guns with your host, me, the Yankee Marshal. Today, I want to talk about dedicated truck guns / car guns. You know, guns, handguns, long guns, whatever, that you actually leave in your vehicle. You don't take them with you when you get out. They're part of your preparedness kit inside your car or truck or whatever, SUV, whatever you have. Well, I in the past have talked about these and what guns I think would make good car / truck guns or vehicle guns. But every time you talk about it, there's always a subgroup in the gun community that becomes very vocal and goes, "Oh my God, I can't believe you're talking about doing this. This is so irresponsible. You'd hold so much liability. Bad guys are going to get them out of your car. So easy to steal out of a car and you're leaving it there unattended, blah, 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 blah." You know, that whole rigmarole. They talk about how having a car / truck gun, vehicle gun, is just irresponsible. And you're risking those guns getting in the hands of bad guys who will then do something bad with it and it'll be your fault. Well, today I want to address that. I want to look at their argument and see if it holds any water. And first off, I want to look at, are you liable if someone takes your gun from your car? Is it your fault? Well, you could have some fault legally, some civil liability, if you made it really easy for a bad guy to get a gun. Let's say you go downtown, you park your car, you leave a gun sitting on your seat in clear view, or you have a gun rack in the back of your truck and there's a rifle on there in clear view, and your doors are unlocked and your windows are down. Well, then yeah, you could probably have some liability for making some really bad decisions there. I mean, I don't think most of us would make those bad decisions, but if you did, you might have some liability there, some civil liability. Now, in some places, you might even face some criminal liability if there are safe storage laws, because you definitely weren't following safe storage laws with that behavior. So yes, you could face some liability. But here's the thing. Are you responsible for what the criminal does with it? In my opinion, no. Not even if you are what they say enticing the crime by making it very easy for them, because you still have a right to believe that this is my property and people aren't going to steal it. That's the law. It's illegal for people to steal your property. So at some level, you have a right to assume people aren't going to do it. You shouldn't have to lock your doors on your house every day. If someone comes in your house while you're gone and steals stuff and they use that stuff for bad behavior, let's say they steal a butcher knife out of your kitchen and they go and they stab someone with it, should you be responsible for that just because you didn't lock your doors? No, you have every right to assume people aren't going to violate the sanctity of your domicile. Just the same thing with your car, in my opinion. But you should be responsible because, for one, we don't want to lose our guns, and two, we don't want bad people to do bad things with them. So really, to make it safe, what you need to do is two things, basically. One, make sure the guns aren't visible from outside the vehicle. That way you're not, attracting attention. If it's a long gun, mount it under a seat or something. A lot of pickups have those fold-up seats in the back nowadays. Mount it under there. A lot of them actually have storage under there already. If it's a handgun, put it in a glove box, center console, or mount the holster up under the dash to where from outside the vehicle, it's not visible. That really right there takes away a lot of your liability as far as I'm concerned. That's being responsible. You're putting it somewhere people won't see it and therefore won't be tempted to take it, which I don't think most people would be tempted, period. I know if I walked right now up to a car parked on the street and I saw they had a rifle in the back window, I might be tempted to look and see what type of rifle it is, but I wouldn't be tempted to steal it because I'm not a criminal. So the people that would be tempted to steal it, they're already criminals or the temptation wouldn't be there. So I don't agree with that kind of logic at all. But like I said, just by putting it out of sight, you can take care of that problem completely. The other thing you just need to do is lock your doors. Lock your glove box if your handgun's in it. Have a locking mechanism on your seat. Hell, I've even seen trucks now that have some really cool pull-out things where you can pull out the tail light and you can store a rifle in there and you can lock them and everything, and it's just out of sight, out of mind, because how many people are going to come by and look for a mechanism to even open your back tail light if it opens up, much less look for a place to get the key and open it up. They just wouldn't even think about it, period. So Put it in places no one's going to see it, or they would never think to look for it. And lock your doors. Lock those special compartments. Lock your doors. Roll up your windows. Lock your glove box. Just keeping it out of sight and keeping it under lock and key. If you do that, I think you're being completely responsible. But for some reason, some people somehow think of cars as being more dangerous than having a gun at home. It's not. In fact, in many ways, if you speak to liability professionals for insurance companies, etc., they say your home is more vulnerable than your car usually. Because your home is much easier to break into, and it's easier to break into from vantage points where people aren't watching constantly. Your car, even when you park it outside, most people, if just looking at it, you can see all four sides. If it's in public, it's usually around people, and you can see all four sides at any given time, pretty much. It's hard to stealthily break into a car if there's anyone around. You can break into a house while people are in the front yard mowing their lawn and often get away with it. It's just easy to do. So cars are sometimes even a more secure place than your home. And when you argue, if you're a pro-gun person arguing that you can't have guns in your car when you're not there, well, then you're also making the argument you can't have guns that are accessible in your house because some bad guy could walk in at any time and take them. And then you'd be responsible for what they did. Does that make sense to anybody, that you can't have guns that are accessible to you, and that if you do, you're responsible if someone takes them? No, that doesn't make sense. Now, once again, there's levels of liability in the home. Like if you leave a loaded revolver sitting on the coffee table and you've got a 2-year-old and they shoot themselves or someone else with it, well, of course you're responsible. You left a loaded gun around a 2-year-old. But if you've just got a gun in your nightstand and anybody that's in there shouldn't be there, they're a criminal, they broke into your house, well, you're not responsible for them taking that. They've committed a crime to get to it, and then they committed the crime of stealing it. So if you want to argue that you can't have one in your car, you'd have to argue that you can't have them accessible in your house when you're not there. Or even when you are there, you never know. You might be in the bathroom, someone might break in. It happens. So that argument not only does it not hold true when it comes to your car, because your car is often more secure than your home, it also opens us up to arguments that you can't have guns out in your home either. Now, there are certain circumstances in your home where you shouldn't. Like if you have people coming over and you don't know all these people all that well, lock up your guns. If you got small children in the house, lock up your guns. Have the one that's accessible to you on you at all time, where it's safe. In a car, even when you're not there, it's pretty much in a little vault. Now, yes, it does have glass where you can break into it, but then there's other little vaults inside there. 2-layer security. That's pretty secure. So as far as whether you're responsible for what bad guys do, no, especially not if they break multiple laws to get your property. That is not your fault. You took reasonable precautions to make sure they couldn't get it. For one, like I said, you have a right to assume people aren't going to steal your shit. So even if you don't lock your doors to your house, I don't think you're responsible if someone comes in. But if you do lock it and someone breaks the law, same thing with your car. If the windows are rolled up, doors are locked, it's locked away, you have no responsibility. That's solely on the criminal that violated your property and violated your rights to be free from such transgressions. So I don't think you bear any responsibility. I think having a car/truck gun is a good idea because you never know when you might get stranded somewhere and you need an extra gun. You forgot yours or someone's with you and you find yourself in a situation where it's a natural disaster or whatever and you need to arm another person. They're great to have. Should have one in your get home bag inside the trunk of your car or locked somewhere inside your car and ammo for it. So not only do I think you're not being irresponsible by doing it, I think you're often being very responsible by doing it because you're doing your best to be prepared for bad situations. And to me, that's always the right thing to do. All right, everybody, that's it for me today. Before I leave, though, I want to say one thing. If you want to be part of the little group of people, a band of merry men that choose the recipients each month for TYMPPP, please send me an email to Shooting Left of Center that says, in the subject line, TYMPPP, TYMPPP, committee, I think is what I said, or judge. No, TYMPPP judge. Put that in the subject line, and I'll forward that over to Vincenzo Liberto. He'll contact you. You can be part of the group that chooses the 4 recipients every month of TYMPPP. So please do that, and I'll forward it along. And with that being said, we will be announcing this new batch of winners by the end of this month. Now, this will be the winners for August, and we'll do September's at the end of, what's the next month? November? No, October. And then so on. I think you can figure it out. I don't need to spell it out for you completely. So if you want to be part of the TYM selection process, like I said, send me that email. With that being said, I am out of here. I hope you enjoyed the show. Hope to see you again tomorrow. Until then, I just want to remind everyone out there to always carry one in your car. I think that's a good idea. And stay safe until I see you again.